The price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black First family, I appreciate every single last one of you guys for watching. Thank you so very much. We got much to discuss this evening. I'm your host, Afro Elite. ICE is cracking down on immigrants. A lot of people have believed in the past that sanctuary cities could save it. A lot of people believed in the past that sanctuary cities will be able to house them, to protect them. But ICE is getting through. ICE is finding a way to outmaneuver all of the sanctuary city protections that has been protecting all of these illegal immigrants. And we're going to go discuss that. Now, before we do, as you guys know, for those of us who've been here for a minute, for those of us who haven't, what we do is we protect the channel by making sure that it's established that all of the clips that are going to be played throughout the entire live stream are under the guise of fair use by playing the disclaimer. As we are doing that, what I need from you guys is to make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. So as you guys are doing that, we're going to play this disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Right. Okay. So get that out the way for everybody who might not know. That's how we do. We make sure we get that out the way because we make sure that we protect the channel and the interest of the channel. So we get that out the way real quick. So I'm going to pull up this thing now. I want you to keep this in mind. This has been going on for the last couple of weeks, few weeks, in fact. So play this first. This happened the last few weeks ago. Oh, Lord. Second I play something, now it's ads all over the place, but it's okay. Let me get my screen together. It's all right. What the hell? Come on. What's going on? Okay. Apologize about that. It was the ads that was messing that up. Okay, what we'll do is as we're going through with the ads, I'm sitting up there waiting on the ads to finish playing. As we're finishing up with the ads, I'm just gonna let you guys know we're sitting up there waiting on it. I'll let you guys know that ICE has been shutting down. Now, what the Biden administration and what all of the Democratic mayors been doing is they'll say, well, we're going to use the protective status of sanctuary cities to house these illegals, these illegal immigrants that we've allowed to come over by the millions. They're here seeking asylum, which is not the case. Now, okay, we're back now. Here we go. Okay. All right, here we go. Where's the sound to the video?
Easy for the state to come find us.
Back right there.
I'd worried that federal agents will come knocking this week. The feds already starting to carry out these raids on immigrants. Nearly 600 arrests so far nationwide just today. Even those who are here legally are now concerned that agents may not really care about that. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Eidegger with the story.
On a frigid night outside a Midtown hotel, a group of migrants are terrified.
Me preocupa
I'm worried that they'll tell me to leave and that I won't have a place to live.
Jennifer fled gang violence in Colombia and walked through the desert with her 5-year-old son. She since obtained legal asylum, but in the past week, her fears have only mounted.
Everyone is scared from the moment we step outside, from riding a bus to riding the subway to taking my son to school. In the school, they have all of our papers and information. They know our names, phone numbers, and where we live. It would be very easy for the state to come find us.
Deportation's going very well.
The White House today released images of men and women it says are undocumented, marched in shackles onto military C-17s and flown to Guatemala.
Now, just to pause it for a little bit, to pause that for a little bit, I don't know if it's just me, and it might just be. Not sure if it's just me, but I see mostly men. This is mostly men who I see here. I've only seen, out of the image, they said men and women. I've seen about like 15 to 20 men and 2 women. So they keep playing this violin, this sad story. Now, they said before that this lady fled gang violence. I'm not going to say that's not true. Let's say, for the sake of the argument, that we don't know. But we don't know. All of them, I'm telling you, every single last one of them are coming over saying the exact same thing, giving the exact, I'm talking about millions of them, giving the exact same story. We're fleeing gang violence. Ain't no proof of that. Just me and my 5-year-old. Now, that is not saying that they didn't come over. She didn't come over with the father or a husband or brothers or anything like that. And this is something we knew the media was going to do. All right. This is not a surprise. They've come over. They've hogged up all the resources, so much so that these major cities with major economies are going into debt trying to care for all of them. The numbers are still starting to come out with how much money we've been spending on all of them for the last few years. And what the media is doing is the media is sitting up here trying to tell you this sad sob story and playing little violin music in the background, talking about this is a mother who carried her child across a desert so she can come here and seek legal asylum. And now she fears being deported. And this is something that the media was going to do because they want to play on the heartstrings of people who would empathize or sympathize, I would say, with them and be all like, oh my God, I mean, she has a little 5-year-old baby and, I don't want her to go back to the gang violence, when that's most likely not why she came over here. Not saying it's not, but I'm saying most likely it's not, because all of them are saying the same story. And we know for a fact none of them have any bit of evidence to back that claim up. None of them do. I can see if she came here and she had bullet holes and stab wounds and cuts and now come on. Let's not even do that. Let's not do that. But we're gonna continue playing this clip. Oh, hold on.
Trump administration's border czar says it's just the beginning.
Okay. Well, this needs to stop freezing up like that. Okay. Well, that's enough of that clip, since that clip just wanted to not cooperate like that. And that's fine. You got the gist. You pretty much got the gist of that. Stop playing that. So now we have a thing where the sanctuary cities like New York, like Chicago, these places that's been housing them, that's been protecting them against federal law enforcement, against ICE, that stuff's starting to crack down now. Now that stuff's not really working out the way they wanted it to work out. I'm going to play this clip for you, and I want us to get this out the way. Where is it? Come on. Why is my thing tripping like this? I tried this new method of actually just showing you guys the screen instead of downloading the clips, which is what I normally do. I'm not going to do that no more. I'm going to go back to my old ways. I'm definitely going to go back to my old ways with that.
based on data from local law enforcement. The ABC7I team found despite local and state laws restricting collaboration with immigration officials, ICE and Homeland Security have access to local data that's gathered, and it's leading to arrests for deportation. Days after he was sworn in, President Trump's immigration agents flooded the Chicago metro area. The goal, making arrests for deportation, including a man court records show named Jeffrey Estrada Pastrana. For immigration agents, the path to Estrada Pastrana's door started this last November when he was pulled over by Chicago police for a traffic stop and was fingerprinted. Those fingerprints were electronically provided to Homeland Security investigations and matched the fingerprints taken from Estrada Pastrana years prior when he was deported to Honduras. Despite the Chicago Welcoming City Ordinance or the Illinois Trust Act in place to keep local law enforcement from collaborating with federal immigration agents, data from local police departments often land in the hands of immigration officials.
That's standard operating procedure. For better or worse, there are back channels that do exist that enable I.C.Es, and one such avenue is the Secure Communities Program.
The Secure Communities Program provides a direct link into data gathered by local and state law enforcement nationwide, despite any sanctuary city or state policies in place. Here's how it works. Since 1924, when local law enforcement scans a person's fingerprint, the departments automatically share those fingerprints with the FBI's Identification Division, checking to see if they match suspects wanted on out-of-state warrants or a suspect's criminal history. But in 2008, the Secure Communities Program created a pipeline from ICE into the FBI's data, giving immigration agents unlimited access to the data the FBI obtains. ICE officials at the time said they only took action when local fingerprints matched a fingerprint of someone already wanted in their system.
They had to have a previous record. They had to have previously arrested by immigration.
And since ICE is accessing the data through the FBI, local and state agencies tell the ABC7I team there is no violation of local sanctuary ordinances.
When you arrest someone, you don't care what his immigration status is. He's arrested for a crime, a violent crime. He's fingerprinted. Those prints are sent electronically. Now, if it comes out that there's an immigration hold on him, that's not up to the Chicago Police Department to enforce.
Now, for Jeffrey Estrada Pastrana, the magistrate judge overseeing his case ordered him to be released as he wasn't found to be a serious flight risk. But ICE detainer records show that he was immediately arrested again and held in a detention facility until last week when he was no longer in custody. That means that he was either released or more likely deported.
And we really...
Yep, most likely he's got deported. Most likely. What is going on? Okay. And this is what's going on. I'm telling you guys, when it comes to, get this off, whatever the case is, these things is acting different. These things is moving differently. But it's okay. We always adjust. We always adapt to it. So glad I got those clips out the way. I'm not playing nothing from websites no more. I'm always going to download them from now on. It's okay. So what we know is that since Trump has taken office, and this is something that he said he was going to do, this is something that nobody should be surprised about. This is something he said, hey, from on day one, me and Tom Homan, we come in there. It's going to be mass deportations all over the place. And boy, did they not exaggerate. They did not lie. They were telling the exact truth about their entire intention the entire time. They said that deportation was going to be rampant. Deportation was going to be all over the place. And that's exactly what they were going to do. They said sanctuary city where we do not care. Now, of course, we've seen in the past, different Democrats, and all of the Democrats, they have a Democratic agenda. All of them, they have to back the play of the party or whatever the case is. We all know this, and this is something that we're very aware of course. Now you have a lot, like for instance, Eric Adams. Eric Adams, he was a Democrat, and I say was, to be honest, even though technically Eric Adams still is. You see, the thing is, Eric Adams, his problem, Eric Adams' problem is that Eric thought he was a friend. See, that's the thing. The shills, they're cool according to the party and everything like that. They fit where they're supposed to be. But Eric, he thought he was a friend. And when you think you're a friend, you expect a certain type of treatment from the party. He thought he was a friend of Joe Biden. That was Eric Adams' problem. He thought he was a friend, so much so that he was willing to sleep outside with the migrants in the shelters because he wanted to make a political statement that it was wrong and that he stood by them and he stood by the party's decision. He stood by Joe Biden and he stood by him because he thought Joe Biden was his friend. That's what he thought. And then more of them started coming over and coming over and coming over. And Eric is sitting up there like, hey, we kind of in the tough pickle right here. We're kind of in a bad situation. So he asked what he thought was his friend. He asked his friend Joe Biden for help. And Joe Biden said, no, I got better things to do. I got more money to give to other people except you. I don't really care for you that much. I'm your friend. You're not my friend. I'm not going to help you. Stop asking me for help. Stop calling me on different numbers. Stop texting me. Stop sending me different emails. Stop sending people. Stop coming to the White House even. If I'm going to be very honest with you, I don't like your black ass over here. He was like, no, you're not getting no type of help. Let me tell you, that broke Eric Adams' heart. Eric Adams started feeling betrayed. Eric Adams didn't know what to do. As the New York City started going down in shambles, Eric started lashing out, started publicly calling out the Biden administration and publicly calling out the mass immigrations going on. And this is such a sudden change. Eric Adams is sitting up there sleeping on the floor. He thought about it. I'm sleeping outside. Now, whether he stayed the whole night, I doubt. But at least he was outside for this bit in the cold, calling himself the quote-unquote Biden of Brooklyn, only to be betrayed by somebody he thought was his friend, to when he needed him the most after carrying his agenda, to have his back essentially turned on him. Eric Adams didn't like that. Eric Adams didn't like that. Not one bit. Not at all. So what Eric Adams decided to do, Eric Adams decided to call out the Biden administration. Oh, yeah. Hold on. I want to play this clip first.
From somewhere. That's the only common denominator we have. All of us came from somewhere. But I can't be clearer. This is a national problem. Chicago, Boston, Houston, Washington. The national government must solve this, and the challenges that we are facing, no city should be facing these challenges. And I kept saying this over and over again. We're going to start to see the visualization of the failure of the policy. I said this over and over again. I said it last year. I said it, from the beginning of this crisis. We're seeing the visual of what a failed national policy is producing. And when I speak to my colleagues in other cities, they're saying the same thing. It's not unique to New York. We have to fix this with a national solution.
Okay. So as ICE is coming, now ICE is coming through. I want you guys to keep in mind what I played, and I played that to let you guys know ICE is coming through, but ICE is coming through kind of with the assistance of Eric Adams. Eric Adams continues to call out the Biden administration.
Made any specific request from the city in order to work with you in this crisis?
His desire is clearly, again, what my target area is. And what I've learned also from sitting down with him and a representative from the Biden administration that was there in the meeting as well, we have 500,000 children who had sponsors in this country that we can't find. We can't find them. We don't know if they're doing child labor. We don't know if they're doing sex crimes. We don't know if they're being exploited. 500,000 children. There's a level of hypocrisy that everyone that states they want to protect everyone, but innocent individuals who are victims of crimes and children. I want to support and protect children and innocent people that are victims of crime. And those who don't understand that, it's not up to me to try to convince them. I know what my job is, my goal is, and I was clear of that while running and when I became mayor. Safety means everything to me. 500,000 children, we don't know where they are right now in this country.
This is something that the Democrats, it's a big no for the Democrats. Oh, no, you don't call out your own party. No. You don't call out your own party. See, Eric Adams did that because Eric feels betrayed. He's looking at the city. He's looking at his responsibility. He's like, hey, man, we kind of going broke doing what you wanted us to do. I assumed you was going to help. Where's the help at? And Biden's like, no. So then Eric starts calling out Biden, not directly, but very indirectly to the point where it's pretty much direct. It's very close to being direct by saying the federal government, we need to do better on the national level, which is Biden. Let me tell you something. Biden didn't really appreciate that at all, to be very honest with you. Yeah, Biden is too old school to be called out by a Negro. Oh, no, Biden wasn't going for that at all. Biden said, okay, that's how you going to play it, huh? That's how you going to play. And this is the reason why you don't see any of the other mayors saying anything about it, because they already know how to get down, go. They already know. See, Adams is saying something because Adams' emotions is tied into it. But, oh, no, you don't piss off the massa. Oh, no, Massa Biden got something for you. So all of a sudden, you start seeing corruption cases on the Mayor Eric Adams. So now Mayor Eric Adams is stuck. He don't know what to do. Okay, the city is broke. Now he's gotten all these corruption cases, which I want to let you guys know this right now. Let me make this abundantly clear. They already knew he had those cases. They already knew what he was doing. They already knew he did that. They already knew that. But see, the thing is that they don't let you in the room unless you got some dirt in your fingernails. That's the thing. They don't let you in the room unless they got an escape plan for you, unless they got a way to backstab you, unless they got, some collateral. They want some insurance on you before they allow you up in the room. So all of them, whether it's Eric Adams, whether it's Brandon Johnson, whether it's Letitia James, whoever, they all ALL, they all got stuff on them. So they all know, you better play ball. Because in the system, let's say this, in the system of white supremacy, you don't get to go in and leave out clean. How they do that is by, number one, making sure the people in the room, they already got to have some dirt on them. Oh, you're not even allowed to really, especially politics. Oh, no, you're not really even allowed to get in the room unless we got something for you. I want you to stand right here on this little, in the cartoons where they have the floor that opens up and the person falls down in the floor. Oh, stand right there on that square right there. And I'm going to have my finger hovered over this little button. In the cartoons, they have that red button. You press the button, the floor opens up and they fall in to like a pit of snakes and stuff. That's what they want you to do. You stand right there. We want our insurance just to make sure if you turn bad, we got something for you. So all of them got something for them. And if they don't, they make it up. And we've seen this time and time again. Oh, they will witch hunt. They will railroad you. They will create some witch hunt. They will create some crazy allegation. They will have the media just back that up. That's plan B. But plan A, especially with politics, oh, you got to come in with something on you. And Eric came in with stuff on him. Oh, yeah, he did. He came in the game dirty. He came in the game with stuff on him. Eric wasn't playing that. He came in. Stuff on him. Biden knew that. He got emotional, called out Biden, and Biden pulled his card. So Eric is stuck. Eric don't know what to do. So Eric says, hey, I don't got no more support from my party, the Democrat Party. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hitch my best. I'm going to cooperate. So next thing you know, Eric Adams, he starts cooperating with Fox. He starts cooperating with the GOP. I mean, look at this. Remember this clip?
So Trump won by 11 points in the Bronx and in Queens. He cut in half Biden's lead in New York. What do you say to what these individuals are saying? Do you agree with them?
Wholeheartedly.
Wholeheartedly. So he's looking like, hey, you know, with the new administration coming in and I got these cases, I got these immigrants, what's a man gonna do? So he said, you know, I'm gonna start leaning over here to the right. I want you guys to understand, you guys are looking at this on the reverse screen. This is my right, facing this way. It's your left, but this is my right. So we start leaning over to the right. So now you start seeing him doing interviews with Fox. You don't really see any other Democratic mayor or any other Democratic politician doing that, but you see Eric Adams doing that. Eric Adams is like, oh, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. This is a catastrophe. This is something that, yeah, he's starting to lean to that. He's like, hey, you know, he could use a pardon here or there.
We started speaking at people. I think I like to say it's a cryptocurrency moment. You know, when I first started, said I was going to invest in cryptocurrency, people laughed at me. Who's laughing now?
Oh, so yeah, Eric Adams, he's starting to play ball with the GOP. That's what he's doing. Recently, he just did an interview with
hijack this now.
Fox with Tom Homan on Fox. I'm gonna play that.
Good. I think that, and Tom can speak for himself, I think he had a real level of frustration.
Now, I just want you guys to understand the optics of this. Just take a good look at this. Eric Adams, the Democratic mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, is sitting next to Tom Homan, the border czar, assigned by Donald Trump, right next to each other on a couch on Fox News. Oh, they don't like that at all. I want you to understand this optic shows Adams switched teams. He might not have done so on paper, but essentially Adams has switched teams. He says, hey, I'm going to need help where I can get it. The Democrats are trying to get me locked up with these corruption cases. I'm not going to say I didn't do it, but I don't want to get locked up for it. So I need to get a pardon. So I need to side with the GOP. So he's been cooperating with Tom Homan, trying to show Trump, hey, I'm a good boy. I play ball. You know, I wanted to be the Biden of Brooklyn, but now I want to be the Trump of Brooklyn. Trump, ain't you from New York? You know, we got that in common, don't we? Oh, so yeah. So now Eric Adams is playing ball, trying to get his case dropped.
And he was trying to figure out, hey, what's going on, Eric? What is happening? And we were able to get in the room and really articulate what are my powers, what are my authorities, and what are some of the things that we need to legislatively address that is preventing us from doing what we want to do, and that is getting dangerous people off our streets.
Right, and Tom Homan, as you know, Mayor, a couple days ago said he was angry at you in New York City because Sounds like last time you guys got together over at Gracie Mansion, you probably said some stuff. Maybe we'd like to do this and that. And I think Mr. Homan, and Tom, you could start with this. You were frustrated that he wasn't doing enough. He wasn't keeping up his end of the deal.
Well, look, you know, I've been on the network for 4 years, and I've called the mayor out many times for not stepping up when it comes to public safety threats. But I tell you, when I sat down with him, I saw the cop in him. And he really does want to do the right thing because he is a cop. He's a lifelong cop. And so he wants to help take public safety threats off the streets in New York, make New York safer.
Yeah. Cop is first off, when you say cop, I want y'all to understand. Cop, that's a word, that's a key word for I go along with the get along. I'm a good boy. When they, oh yeah, you're a cop. Oh yeah, that means you know how to take orders. That's what that means.
He also wants to help find these missing children. We got 300,000 missing children. That many of them are here in the city. We know that. We got to find them. And we'll be working with his intelligence division, his officers, to save these children because many of these children are in forced sex trafficking. Many are in forced labor.
And I want you to look. Adam's not saying nothing. See, that's the difference between him and Brandon Johnson. See, Brandon Johnson is making it clear that he is in no way going to help, assist, aid ICE to any degree whatsoever. He's let it be abundantly clear, crystal clear, without a shadow of a doubt. He's not helping ICE in any way possible. Yeah, but see, Adams is willing to cooperate. Adams is like, you know what? My police is your police. My house is your house. My city is your city. My resources is your resources. Come on, Tom, let's get them. That's what they on right now.
We need to save them. And I think everybody can agree to that. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on.
Yeah, and people want to hijack this narrative and turn it into a political narrative where we're saying we need to have public safety. I requested the meeting. I reached out to his team and said, we want to sit down. This has been an issue I was talking about before the election. Spring of 2022, you look at these quotes over and over again. We need to go after these dangerous people in our street. And now I have someone that understands that narrative, and we are fighting together to get it done.
I know Tom has been on our network so many times saying he felt like ICE's hands were tied under the last administration. You've agreed to sign an executive order to open up an ICE office at Rikers Island so that these dangerous criminals that are here illegally can be deported. Tell the folks at home, because they'll hear this, they'll say, oh, they're going to come after me next. You said these are the worst of the worst. So who is at Rikers Island?
So he look at his smile. I want y'all to look at it. Oh, look at his smile. He is cooperating 110%. This man said, I signed an executive order to allow ICE to come into essentially the jails in New York. This man is signing he is trying to save himself by any means necessary. This man is doing above anything and everything he can do to keep himself out of prison for his corruption charges. Now, as I want y'all to see, there is a night and day contrast between him and Johnson. Johnson is signing executive orders to protect them. Adams is signing executive orders to get them up out of there. He is trying to play ball to the best of his ability. I mean, he's playing ball like you're Michael Jordan, trying to save his life.
Island that will be deported. What have they done?
And you bring in 2 points where the far left has hijacked this narrative. ICE is running in our...
Look, I want y'all to hear the words he's using. I'm telling y'all, when I say he switched, Adams has switched. He's saying they're trying to hide the far left. Let me ask y'all a question. What Democrat do you know refers to the media as the far left? They only talk about or criticize the far right. When do you hear any Democratic politician, whether that's a mayor, whether that's a governor, whether that's somebody in Congress, name one that's all like, yeah, and the far left has hijacked this media, sitting here now, having this interview with Fox next to Tom Homan? You wouldn't even, if you didn't know who Eric Adams was, you wouldn't even know that Eric is a Democrat. You wouldn't even know that by listening to him right now. This man is I'm telling you, he switched.
schools. ICE is running in our churches, and they are creating this frenzy. They're not in the business of just grabbing children, and we need to, just stop all this noise. Rikers Island, particularly after all the reforms, Rikers Island is now having some of the most dangerous people in our city. And by having ICE on Rikers Island, part of our gang intelligence, using our intel with NYPD correction officers, we could identify those gangs inside and outside on the street. There was no reason they were removed from Rikers Island. And as I sat down with Tom earlier, I said that we're going to look at all the legalese. I'm able to do an executive order to put them back on Rikers Island, what they should be with part of our criminal justice apparatus.
You have a left-wing legislature. Everybody knows it. And for some reason, nobody votes in New York, so the same left-wingers get in every time. But if you had your druthers, would New York City be a sanctuary city?
What we will always be. This has always been a city of immigrants.
So you think it should be?
No. Let me explain, because this is what's getting conflated all the time. Where the sanctuary city is stated that if you're in this city and you're paying taxes, you should have access to the services. What I asked the city council to do, change the bill that was already in place and modify it, that if you are committing a crime, that we should be able to collaborate with ICE, even on civil enforcement, if you have committed a crime. That part of the bill is wrong. But everyday people who are here until they're moving to be...
But the thing is that the fact that they've entered the country illegally has already made them criminals by definition. The fact that they have not legally entered the country means that they are committing a crime by just being here.
Be documented. If they are going to school, working, paying taxes, then they should be able to provide police services, hospital services. Children should go to school. That is what we're saying.
You don't agree with that, Tom?
I don't agree. I think sanctuary is a sanctuary of criminals. But we walked out of the meeting yesterday, and getting back in Rikers Island is a game changer. We can get, not only we get the bad guys before they hit the street, the intelligence of how the TDA operates, where they're operating, all this intelligence they gather at Rikers Island, we'll have access to. But no, I'm strictly against sanctuary city status just because I think sanctuaries are for criminals.
Right.
And
they're a magnet.
But the beauty here is that we're allowed to disagree.
Right.
But we do agree on the fundamental that no matter who
you see how he tried to save himself. I just want y'all to understand. Now, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. It's like 15 minutes. We're not gonna play the whole thing. But I just want y'all to see how he was all like, oh, yep. As the second he started disagreeing, I want you to look at his facial expressions like, oh, no. Look at his facial expressions when he was like, hey, do you agree with that? Hold on.
The intelligence of how the TDA operates, where they're operating, all this intelligence they gather at Rikers Island, we'll have access to.
Hold on, right here. Look at it right here.
Not only we get the bad guys before they hit the street, for criminals. But
look at his face. His face is looking like, oh my God, why did he ask that question? Damn.
But
he's been up there thinking, look, he's looking disappointed. Oh, he's like, yeah, I don't know what to do.
He walked out of the meeting yesterday and getting back in.
He was just in a good mood. Y'all just saw his facial expression. He was in a good mood a second ago.
Rikers Island's a game changer. We can get, not only we get the bad guys before they hit the street, the intelligence of how the TDA operates, where they're operating, all this intelligence they gather at Rikers Island, we'll have access to. But no, I'm strictly against sanctuary city status just because I think sanctuaries are for criminals.
Right.
And
they're a magnet.
But the beauty here is that we're allowed to disagree.
Right.
But we do agree on the fundamental that no matter who you are, it should be saved. So that's what people are missing. My life.
And you see how he called him. I want y'all to see how desperate. You see how he called himself. He's sitting up there looking. But hold on. We agree on what? Yeah, we can disagree on that, but we agree on the main thing, right? Right? We are together in the main thing. He was thinking about it, like, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of this? I don't know. And then he was all like, yeah, we can disagree. We can agree to disagree, but on the main thing, we do agree. We're still friends. We are still friends. We agree on the main big thing. Don't let that little that doesn't matter. But we agree on the big. He just popped out saying that, like, hey, I don't want you to think I'm still on your side, please. I understand me. We still agree on the same thing. All right. So he wants it to be abundantly clear, like, yeah, we agree to disagree, but I don't want you to think that, hey, I'm working 100% with him. We agree on that, and I'm backing him up all the way. So much so that he's been, playing ball to the best of the degree he can, and all of a sudden, it looks as if his cases have just been dropped. Or less his cases have been dropped and more of the people who are trying to prosecute him are being dropped. That's what the situation looks like. Okay. So right here, it says 4 top aides to New York City Mayor Eric Adams resign. So they're resigning. A lot of them are resigning. And why are they resigning? Okay. It says, controversy surrounding New York City Mayor Eric Adams deepened Monday as 4 of his top aides and deputy mayor announced they're resigning. The news comes days after Trump's administration Justice Department moved to drop corruption charges against Adams. All right, so right now, the Trump administration, DOJ, is actually trying to clear Eric Adams. So a lot of the prosecutors to Eric Adams' corruption charges, they've been resigning. So Eric Adams is damn near having his case cleared because Eric Adams been playing ball. Eric Adams knows that, hey, the only lifeline I have left is Trump. So Eric Adams has been fully cooperative to the best degree he probably can because of the fact that he is still a Democratic mayor in a Democratic city. He's been cooperating, signing executive orders, all he could. It says critics say the DOJ shoveled its criminal corruption as bribery case against the Democratic mayor after he agreed to collaborate with President Trump's immigration crackdown, which, I mean, quid pro quo. Eric faces growing calls from a growing number of New York State Democratic leaders to resign, and now 4 of his most senior aides say they are leaving his administration. So we're going to get to that in a little bit. But the point is that all of the bootlicking that Eric Adams was doing, because he was doing a lot. Eric Adams was in a desperate situation. Eric Adams didn't have anywhere to go. He was cornered. He was backed. Biden was on his tail. Biden was on his bumper. Biden was getting at him, and he said the only possible hope I have left is I have to turn to Donald Trump. I have to appease Donald Trump. So Eric Adams started shifting to the right and shifting to the right and shifting to the right in a desperate hope that Donald Trump's DOJ would recognize him as a good old boy and help him out, throw him a lifeline, and it looks like that's what happened. So now Eric Adams is kind of in a situation where Eric Adams is better than he was yesterday. So things are turning out well for Eric Adams. All that bootlicking and all that, I want to cooperate with Tom Homan, all of that stuff starting to work out for Eric Adams. Starting to work out. But a lot of people are calling this out for what they assume it is. A lot of people are saying that, okay, well, this looks like this was bribery. So Tom Homan was on CNN discussing the possibility of this looking like an obvious bribe right here.
Want the fastest working GLP-1?
Of course,
for
they
half
get played
price,
now. Of course.
Roe now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see
hold on
faster.
for 1 second. The ad is going to be
Lose
over.
15% of your weight.
As the ad is over, I want to give a shout out to, as you're playing the ad, shout out to Antithesis for the Cash App. I see your Cash App. Shout out to every single last one of you guys for being here with us this evening.
See if you
Also,
at
don't forget
TV.
to hit
I just
the
want to
like
ask
button.
directly. You met
Here we go.
on Thursday with the New York mayor, and he announced then that he would give ICE agents access to the prison on Rikers Island. You called that a game changer. A few days before Adams made that announcement, the Justice Department instructed prosecutors to drop federal corruption charges against him. It sounds like the DOJ dropped the case against Adams, and in exchange, he let you into Rikers. Is that what happened?
No, I think that's ridiculous. Me and Mayor Adams met a couple months ago. I think it was probably 8-9 weeks ago we met and we had the same discussion. And we talked about getting a presence in Rikers Island. We talked about how we can collaborate on public safety threats and finding the missing children that can't be found.
But to keep this in mind, 8-9 weeks ago, Adams was still dealing with the case. Adams was dealing with this case for months. This case has been built up for months. This ain't a new case. So it could still very well possibly be a bribe, which most likely, seeing how Adams have shifted, most likely it is.
After they released the sponsors. We had that a couple months ago, long before this other discussion. So I don't think it had anything to do with it. Matter of fact, the meeting was very well. It was the same meeting we had a few weeks ago. The reason we had the follow-up meeting because there's no action being done. So we follow up on how we can get some of this stuff in place. And that's what the meeting Thursday was about.
Right. I mean, you absolutely have been honest about the fact that you met with Adams before in December, I think it was. You came away from that meeting really unsatisfied. What changed between then and now other than the Department of Justice dropping the case against Adams?
No, I didn't come.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not for the sanctuary cities or anything like that. But if we're going to tell the truth, we got to tell the whole truth all the way on both sides. When Tom met with Adams, Tom was disappointed. He didn't like Adams was not playing ball at first. When Tom met with Adams, Adams was not willing to cooperate to the degree he is now. Oh, he's willing to fully cooperate now. And then that case started building up and the pressure started building up and building up and building up. And then Adams picked up the phone like, hey, Tom, why don't you come over? I was looking through the files and the paperwork you sent me and everything like that. Now I want to reconsider the executive order thing. I want to reconsider Rikers Island. Just come over, have a cup of coffee, and we can talk this through. So Tom comes back and the meeting goes a little bit better. And then next thing you know, Adams' case gets dropped. Now, I'm not saying it's a robbery, but I'm saying the dots line up.
Come out of that meeting unsatisfied. I was after several weeks, I was taken back that we hadn't gotten any action on that yet about getting Rikers Island. So we rescheduled a meeting to talk. Okay, well, we talked about how what things we need to put in place, how we can make this happen. So let's get going. Let's take some steps forward, and that's what the meeting Thursday about. And we came out Thursday with a plan, and how we can get Rikers Island in the criminal intelligence division. So we get an understanding of who's in there, who's foreign born in the Rikers Island, the significant public safety threat. We also talked about how we can collaborate on the missing children, many that are being in New York City, and that's what we talked about. I really don't think had anything to do with whatever's going on in the Justice Department. We never talked about that. It's kind of out of my lane. I've been talking to the mayor for months about getting in Rikers Island, and that's what we talked about.
Yeah, and I totally understand you do not work in the Department of Justice, but you do work in the broader Trump administration. And, just as somebody who is in law enforcement, you call yourself a cop, just looking at the series of events, sir, the fact that you didn't get what you wanted, you came away not sure why he wasn't doing what you wanted him to do, particularly with opening Rikers. The Department of Justice gets rid of the charges against him, and then poof, he agrees.
Look, the first meeting, if you look at my interview after the first meeting, I said to the whole world, I've called that mayor out for a couple of years because I didn't think he was doing the right thing as far as public safety threats. And that first meeting back in December, I said to everybody that interviewed me, for the first time, I saw the cop in him. I saw the cop come out of him. He talked about how he wants public safety threats removed from New York City. He wants illegal alien crime to decrease in New York City. And there's a way we should collaborate on that. We agreed that he doesn't want to be an immigration officer. I don't want him to be an immigration officer. We agreed on that. Well, I just want him to help me with the public safety threats, leave immigration enforcement to us. So it was a great meeting. Just the actions following up that meeting were slow to happen. That's why I requested a second meeting to find out what more do we need to do to get some of this stuff in place. So I just think, people are making a lot about nothing. I mean, again, I went up there as the ICE director. Now the borders are, and we collaborated on how to move illegal alien crime, decrease it down in New York City, and find the worst of the worst. And that's what we talked about. It was cop to cop. Not borders are to mayor, cop to cop. And we talked about the public safety threats and how they They should be removed from our communities, and that's what's in conversation.
Oh, okay. Not sure why I was doing that.
I decided to go with Roe for GLP-1s because
I get it. So essentially, and the meeting kind of keeps going on and replaying itself. So he's saying, "Oh, that's not what I talked about, and I'm not a part of the DOJ." Even though technically that's true, he's not a part of the DOJ, but he's like really close to Trump. He's cool with Trump. Trump likes him. So it's nothing for you to be a part of the Trump administration, for you to send word out being all like, hey, you know, if Adams does this, I can do that. So yeah, more than likely, this was a deal. It was a mutually beneficial deal. Adams got something on him that he won off of him. Tom wanted something from Adams. So more than likely, they made a deal. Now, here's the thing. Does the deal affect black people in a negative way? No, not really. Except for the fact that Adams is not going to prison and Adams is still the mayor. So yeah, that negatively affects them. But right now, more directly, more importantly, the immigrants got to go. And Adams is doing something that gets them out. Even though he's doing it to save himself, he's doing it for that, for whatever reason, for the reason of himself. What the end result is that the illegals are out of the city, which is a good thing. All right. Now, everybody's sitting up here acting as if they don't know that this is clearly like a little quid pro quo deal that Adams made with the GOP. This is clearly that. Even Trump is saying that he doesn't even know anything about it.
The lead prosecutor in Eric Adams' case resigned today, saying anyone who didn't press forward would be a coward. What's your reaction to that and to the overall implication that politics were at play here?
Well, I don't know about it. I mean, obviously I'm not involved in that, but I would say this, that if they had a problem, and these are mostly people from the previous administration, you understand, so they weren't going to be there anyway. They were going to all be gone or dismissed. If not, they know on Tuesday they're all being dismissed. You know, the whole country is being, because what you do is you come in and you put new people in. So when you say resign, they're going to be gone anyway. But I know nothing about the individual case. I know that they didn't feel it was much of a case. They also felt that it was unfair with the election. Look, I would know that better than anybody because I was weaponized more than any human being in the history probably of the world. And I won.
Trump is something else. Sometimes you just cannot believe the things he says. This man's ego is something. This man just said he's weaponized more than any human being probably in the history of the world. Like, come on. Sometimes you just gotta and he's saying it with such a straight face. I'm sure he probably believes that. Listen to it. I
was weaponized more than any human being in the history probably of the world.
Damn. Okay, Trump. All right.
And I won the election in a landslide, winning all 7 swing states, winning the popular vote and everything else, because the people got it. It was weaponized, and I was weaponized literally weeks before the election. But I think there's also something to be said. I read that. There's something to be said for what they were doing. It looked to me to be very political. But why didn't they bring this up like 4 or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, or whenever it happened? You know, they just sat around and didn't complain. Then all of a sudden they complain, and they know they're all being dismissed anyway. So, you know, that's the way it is.
Yeah,
that's called politics.
Yeah, boy. He said more than anybody else in the history of the world. This dude is something else. So now things are turning out well for Adams. The bribery seemed like it's working out good for him. Everything seeming like it's working out the way Adams wants it to work out. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of the people, a lot of the Democrats not liking that. They not liking Adams' shift to the GOP. They not liking the fact that he's starting to lean right. They not liking that at all. Oh, not one bit. As a matter of fact, a lot of them are calling for Eric Adams to resign now. that his corruption cases are starting to become dropped. A lot of them want Adams up out the seat. And Adams is saying, to hell with all of y'all. Adams is saying no. Adams ain't going. He's not going nowhere. Look at this.
3 hours from now, protesters will gather here at City Hall to call on Governor Kathy Hochul to remove Mayor Eric Adams from office. Yesterday, the mayor accused his detractors of dancing on his grave, and he sounded more defiant than ever.
I got a mission to finish. I am going nowhere. Nowhere.
At two different churches in Queens, Mayor Eric Adams made it clear he will not leave City Hall on his own. He told worshipers what he would like them to say if they hear other people criticizing him.
Say, if you're not going to be with the brother, Negro, shut up.
Say, if you're not going to be with the brother, Negro, shut up. Adams is feeling himself. After his cases started getting dropped, Adams started feeling himself. He says, I'm not going nowhere. And if you ain't going to be with me, Negro, shut up. He's in church. I want y'all to keep this in mind. This ain't a press conference. This ain't City Hall. This ain't his office. This is a church. Okay. Oh, he's feeling himself now.
That's all. Shut up.
Support for the mayor, even in his own administration, appears to be crumbling. According to multiple reports, at least 3 deputy mayors, First Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, Deputy Mayor for Operations Mira Joshi, and Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services Ann Williams Isom have expressed plans to resign. After the Justice Department ordered charges against the mayor to be dropped, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, and others in the department resigned in protest. Critics say the mayor is now beholden to the Trump administration.
The situation is very disturbing. Mayor Adams has a responsibility to convince the people of New York City that he will be able to continue to govern in a manner that puts their best interests first at all times, and that he's not simply taking orders from a Trump administration.
Now, let's pause this. Let's pause this. Let's pause this for a second and get this out the way. Let's get this out the way. I'm not a fan. I'm not a supporter. I don't like Eric Adams to any degree whatsoever. I can clearly see the play. I clearly know this man a few years ago wasn't sleeping outside, whether it was for a photo op or not. I know for a fact he wasn't doing that because he doesn't like them. Adams was fully for the party, and the party switched up on Adams because he started getting upset, emotional, called him out. They switched up on him, and now Adams is doing this to save his own ass. I know that for a fact. If Adams was getting the support that he wanted from the Biden administration from the get-go, Adams wouldn't be on this page. He would be refusing to sign any executive orders the same way Brandon Johnson is refusing to sign any executive orders. I already know. All these politicians are self-centered. All of them are selfish. All of them switch up on a dime to save themselves. All of them do. So we already know that Adams is doing all of this to save his own self. We know that. Now, on the other hand, what I don't like is the fact that now you get Hakeem Jeffries and all of this stuff acting as if cooperating with, quite literally, the president of the United States is somehow immoral or somehow takes away from your ability to govern. So it was okay when he was governing under Biden and the city was literally going into debt and the city was literally collapsing and eroding and being destroyed. As long as he was playing good with the Democratic Party, Hakeem Jeffries didn't have a problem with the way he was governing. All of these other Democrats, they didn't have a problem with the way he was governing when he was cooperating with Biden, even though the city was literally going down. The city of New York was literally going down in shambles, and it was in a major crisis under Adams because Adams was following the agenda of the Democrats, but that was fine then. But now Adams is kind of following the agenda of Trump and the Republicans. Oh, this is the city needs better than this, Adams. The city needs better. No, is it the city or the party, Hakeem? That's the thing. Now they're trying to make it seem like Adams is switching. He is, for selfish reasons. But the thing is that the people, they making it seem like this is an attack on the people. No, it's not an attack on the people. You can say he's doing it because he's selfish. I would agree. But is it an attack on the people? I would disagree with you on that, because the people are better under this new agenda, under the agenda of the new administration, than the people were under the previous administration. New Yorkers were suffering under the Biden administration with that agenda he had going on over there. And you didn't see none of them, his deputy mayors, Hakeem Jeffries, saying anything to challenge his ability to govern, because he was governing and he was cooperating with Biden. But now he's cooperating with Trump, and now all of a sudden he's a bad mayor. All of a sudden he needs to resign. All of a sudden all of this, No. I see the play from the Democratic Party make it seem like he's betraying the people. He ain't betraying the people. Y'all betrayed the people. He was betraying the people before. If we're going to be honest, he was betraying the people before, when he was cooperating with Biden. Now, is he doing it because he loves the people? No. And we're not going to be confused by this. But let's be honest. Him switching to the GOP ain't going to harm the people any more than Biden already has. As a matter of fact, is going to start correcting all of the damage that Biden has done. So, yeah, we're not going to play that game, Hakeem. Come on now. Let's continue.
Remove Eric Adams! Remove Eric Adams!
Governor Kathy Hochul has the power to remove the mayor from office, and protesters in Lower Manhattan yesterday called on her to do exactly that. In an interview last week, she would not rule it out. From the sounds of it, the mayor will not leave on his own.
I'm not going to step down, I'm going to step up.
And in addition to the protests here at City Hall against the mayor later this morning, there will be a rally in support of the mayor this afternoon in Bed-Stuy. Clergy and other community leaders will be gathering to voice their support for him. He has been invited to that gathering. It's unclear if he will be there. We're live at City Hall this morning. Kurt, back to you.
5 people in upstate New York now facing charges in the torture and murder of a transgender man.
Okay, well, that was a very interesting shift in news. Okay, but that's okay. All right, then. Boy, did that news just immediately segue to, boy, okay, that's interesting. Okay. Wow. But all right then. I wish them the best. Don't know what that was about. Let me tell you something, and I'm telling you, yeah, kind of throws you off a little bit. It didn't even like get to the next thing. It just kind of like wow. All right, that's interesting. But on to the Eric Adams thing. Now you got, because it's quid pro quo, clearly. Now here's the issue. We know quid pro quo goes in politics, and especially when it comes to cases. If I'm looking at it from a third person point of view, it is wrong for, if you have cases of corruption and you are a sitting official, for you to be able to make a deal and get your cases with corruption dropped. Okay, if justice is blind, it got to be blind for politicians as well too. Okay, it's got to be even across the board. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I don't necessarily think that, okay, you got your corruption case building up on you, the evidence is building up on you, the court date is coming closer, and you can sign an executive order to appease the DOJ and then get your case dropped. I don't agree with that. Okay, just from a legal point of view to end corruption just in general. Because I'm not GOP, I'm not DNC. I'm just for justice, and that's not justice. That's not the way the justice system should be working. So I don't agree with the quid pro quo in that sense. But I will also be fair and say the Democrats do quid pro quo all of the time. So we're not going to sit up here and act as if the quid pro quo thing is just Trump's administration or the GOP. We're not going to act like that. I'm saying it's wrong in this case, that it's not justice, is not right, is not proper. But also, I will also say that same playbook of quid pro quo is done all of the time when it comes to the Democratic Party. All of the time. Where you got the sitting officials and everything like that. They get little bribes and deals under the table. I was just talking about that the other day, how Brandon Johnson was getting all of these surprise gifts from donors. I'm talking about tens of thousands of dollars worth of gifts, and nobody knows where it comes from, but he's hooking up certain businesses and corporations and certain politicians and stuff like that. And that happens at City Hall as well, too. So all of that stuff, if we're going to talk about quid pro quo and the end of corruption, you got to talk about that across the board. This is why they're not making any headway, is because when the Democrats talk about corruption, when the Democrats talk about quid pro quo, they can't even talk about it fully because they do so much of it. They do it all of the time, so often they can't really call it out like that, or else they would seem like hypocrites. I'm gonna be honest, y'all seem like everybody calling out Adams, and like I keep on saying, I'm not a fan of Adams. I'm not a supporter of Eric Adams. But y'all are hypocrites for calling him out now that he's making a deal with the Trump administration to the allegedly, because we got to say allegedly making this deal with the Trump administration. But y'all wasn't calling him out. We're sitting up there playing ball and letting the city go down by following the Democrats or any other Democratic mayor or official for doing the same thing. So y'all are hypocrites for that. Look at this. Hold on.
Welcome to Picks on Politics, everybody. I am Dan Manarino, and Mayor Adams and his relationship with the Trump administration dominating the headlines. The first storyline, new immigration policies. And now there is a lot to unpack, okay? So let's break it down for you. This week, President Trump revoked $80 million in FEMA funds from New York City meant to cover hotel costs for migrants. Mayor Adams trying to get some of those funds back and talked about that during his meeting with the border czar, Tom Honan, in their meeting on Thursday. Following that meeting, Mayor Eric Adams announced that he will allow immigration officials to operate at Rikers Island. And then, of course, there are the major developments with the legal case against the mayor. So let's get into that. Earlier this week, the Department of Justice ordered the corruption charges against Adams to be dropped, not on merit, but because the case interfered with the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and the upcoming mayoral election. Days went by without, this is key, without the charges being dropped. And then Manhattan U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon, along with 5 high-ranking Justice Department officials, resigned after refusing those orders. Like I said, it's a lot. All of that in just a week. So I sat down with the mayor minutes after the news broke about the resignations of the U.S. attorney. Here's what he had to say. The prosecutor who is tasked with dropping the charges resigned. Did you see that news? Did you have a reaction to that news? And she said she resigned because she didn't want to drop the charges.
I have no say-so in her employment or non-employment. I believe the president was clear and the incoming attorney general was clear. We're going to stop weaponizing our systems against Americans. No American should have had to have gone through what I went through.
And like
this man sounded like Donald Trump right now. This man saying that I have been the most persecuted person probably in the history of the world. This man sounded like Donald Trump talking about no American should have had to go through what I went through. Adams, you did it though. Like, huh? No American should have had to go through. Dude, what did you go through? You had a case pending up on you. He still was the active. It's not like he had to resign. It's not like he had to sit out or somebody else came and took his seat. He's been the mayor the entire way through. He just had some bad press. Y'all, I got to play that again. I can't believe he just, okay, hold on. This man, what? Oh, come on.
I believe the president was clear and the incoming attorney general was clear. We're going to stop weaponizing our systems against Americans. No American should have had to have gone through what I went through.
And like I said, those are just.
Dude. Okay. Okay. Lord have mercy. All right. But we all know he's corrupt and we all know he did it. The thing is that it was weaponized against him. I will admit that. It was very clear that it was weaponized against him when he didn't want to play ball with Biden. But that don't mean he didn't do it, and that don't mean he shouldn't face the consequences for it. Talk about no American should have had to went through what I went through. Okay.
Just the headlines from just 1 week. And there's more. New York Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez now calling for the mayor to resign. Now I'm sitting down with the man second in line to the mayor, public advocate Jumaane Williams, and he is going on the record.
Consumers are on the move, and it's your job to keep up. What if your curiosity could propel you forward?
And Mr. Williams, welcome back to Picks and Politics. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Always a pleasure.
We'll get into why you invited you here, was to talk about your reelection as public advocate, if that comes to it, because there's so many balls in the air. And to be full disclosure, I'm taping this on a Friday afternoon, right? So let's begin with the news of the week, and really just beginning with the charges that were supposed to be dropped that haven't been yet, with this key phrase of without prejudice, meaning they could come back, right? When all of that happened, what was your reaction?
You know, I want to bring us back to maybe even a year ago, when everything we were told is that this investigation doesn't even center around the mayor. And from that time period, everything we heard has been misinformation or lies. It is a painful space to be in. I just got to tell you, as a black man who's a citywide elected official, this happened to another black man who's another citywide, more powerful citywide elected official. So it's painful to watch this and to have to respond to it. But it is very clear that this mayor cannot be the mayor of this city. He cannot govern this city with charges held over his head. The quid pro quo is written in black and white from the DOJ. Daniel Sassoon from the Southern District made it even more explicit that this is what they wanted. And the meetings for the quid pro quo are happening as we speak.
So, and okay, if he can't be mayor, here's the thing. If he can't be mayor because he got cases pending above his head, if that's the standard that we're going with, okay, fine. Then he shouldn't have been mayor under the Biden administration, because the cases, if we're going to be honest, looking back in the history, if the cases were under the Biden administration, he should have resigned under the Biden administration. But no, the cases were built up starting with the Biden administration, and now he's starting to make arrangements and deals with the Trump administration, and all of a sudden his ability to govern is now compromised because he's making deals essentially to get his cases dropped. But now you got tethers acting as if they're public advocates and making it seem like this is some type of moral issue. All right, come on. You're going to have to play.
Adams' attorney, Alex Spiro, came out with a statement denying that this was a quid pro quo. You disagree?
I mean,
did y'all see? Why is he jumping like that? Let me make this big. Did y'all see that? This man is twitching. Is he on? So why is he twitching like that? Hold on. Look at the way he just I don't know. What's he look?
Adams' attorney, Alex Spiro, came out with a statement denying that this was a quid pro quo. You disagree?
I mean,
did y'all see that? Is he okay? I'm concerned. If he got a disability, I just don't know. That just looked weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I don't. Can somebody explain that to me? Is it Tourette? I thought Tourette's is something when you start you say random things. Like you got triggers that make you say things. He just start twitching. And what's interesting is he wasn't doing it before. I don't know if like, oh, okay, he just started just kind of I don't know. Okay, all right. And it could be he might, I don't know. I'm not making fun of a disability. I just don't know what it was. It just looked weird to me. Oh, okay. He has to. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I guess Tourette's does make you twitch. Like, all right. Yeah. Thank you for explaining that, Sage, because I just didn't know. It just looked weird.
I have tried to be measured how I talked about this, but when it comes to black and white, when the DOJ themselves wrote a letter saying we didn't look at any of the evidence, so this is not about guilt or innocence, but what we are saying is we need you to help us with some of our priorities like immigration. And by the way, we can return these charges back to you at any point in time. And then you have Daniel Sassoon and others who, by the way, are Trump appointees. Yeah. These are the most conservative of conservatives. She interned for Anton Scalia. And they resigned and said, I cannot do this. And every time they try to give it to someone else, they say, we're resigning because we cannot do this. And then you see the thing that they're saying was quid pro quo actually happening. And Daniel Sassoon laid out that they were going to do a superseding, laid out that the mayor's team himself were bargaining for this quid pro quo. That's not me. But my job is to make sure I'm focused on what's best for the city of New York. And what's best for the city of New York is not this mayor, because it is clear he's making decisions not in the best interest of New York. And it's been like that for a while. And it's very hard, painful.
But he's been not made decisions. And that's my issue. He's been not made decisions. Tourette's, okay. I'm just learning about Tourette's now. I thought Tourette's was the thing where you just start saying stuff. Yeah, I did catch that. Yeah, I caught it, but I didn't know it was. I didn't know Tourette's made you do that, but now I do. Okay, I guess Tourette's do have that, but he did start twitching. I just couldn't help but notice that. And I asked. I didn't make no assumptions. I didn't make fun of. I'm not making fun of a disability. I just asked the question. But the thing is that. He's saying, yeah, Eric Adams, he's not able to do what's in the best interest of the city, but he's been not done that. Eric Adams has been not in the best interest of New York. So my thing is that don't make it seem like all of a sudden now Eric Adams is a bad mayor because he's trying to save himself. Now you can question him as being a person, bad person, or whatever the case is, an honest man or not. Yeah, that's up to question. But don't sit up here and make it seem like all of a sudden now that Eric Adams is sitting up there doing something different from the Democrat agenda, he's bad for the people, when it was bad for the people what he was doing. Eric Adams has never been good for the people. He's just been going along with the party. See, and this is the thing that makes me upset. This is the thing that I don't like. Is that when you have these Democrats who come up here and make it seem like what's good for the party is what's good for the people. And if they don't do something that's good for the party, they'll make it seem like, oh, Eric Adams is not doing something good for the people and he's not doing what's in the best interest of the people. When has Eric Adams ever done what was in the best interest of New York and New Yorkers? When has he done that? Eric Adams has never put New York before himself, not when he was under the Biden administration, and clearly not when he's under the Trump administration. He's always put what's in his best interest first. That's always been his go-to. And they've been cool with that. That's the thing. They've been cool with that ever since. They've been fine and cool with that the whole time. Now, all of a sudden, that what's in his best interest just happens to align with Donald Trump. All of a sudden, this is against the people. No, we're not going to do that. This is the same Eric Adams that y'all was cool with before. He's doing the same selfish things he was doing before. He's putting himself first. And that was cool with y'all because he was doing that with the Biden administration. But now he's putting himself first, and it aligns with the Trump administration, and it's an attack on the people. No, y'all not going to make it seem like what's in the party's best interest is aligned with what's in the people's best interest, because it's not the same. And if we're going to be honest, just taking it from a third person point of view, actually, what Adams is doing now is actually more in favor of what is in the best interest of the people than it was when he was working with Biden. if we're going to be honest. And we know he's not doing it for that reason. But regardless of that, what he's doing now is actually more beneficial to the public than what he was doing under Biden. If we're going to be honest, that's the truth.
Support for the mayor is now waning, right? I hear it in what you're saying right now. He's facing criticism from the Speaker of the City Council. He's facing criticism from the Democratic leader of the House, Hakeem Jeffries. Al Sharpton raising some questions as well. I asked the mayor about some of those folks who are asking if he can do his job. I want you to listen to what he had to say here. You have these big-time leaders expressing doubt. How do you ensure, New Yorker, that you can lead the city?
Well, Dan, if you want to know where a person is going, look at where he traveled from. Dan, people have been covering me for years. Remember, I was a police officer. Police commissioners determined my ability to be hired or fired. I was extremely critical in the police department, even with that threat hanging over my head. That's why I cut my teeth in showing how I would stand up for this city.
Okay, so he says he can lead. Should he resign? Do you think, as public advocate right now, that he should resign?
Well, we should put out a statement saying, I would call for him to resign, but we would require him show a care about New York City over himself that he's been unable to do.
Okay.
But I will make it clear that he cannot be the mayor of this city and govern this city the way it needs to be governed. This is a national story. People are looking at this. If this can happen to the largest city, one of the most powerful mayor, where the Trump White House can just say, I'm going to make you do whatever I need to do, then what is to say about any other mayor in this country?
But does that mean he should?
But here's okay. And that's fair. That's a fair point. And that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But here's the other point. Biden knew he had this on him. So if Biden's DOJ, see, here's the other part. You got to be, because if we're going to be about justice, brothers and sisters, you got to be about justice across the board. If it's wrong, what Trump is doing, like, hey, I'm going to ease up on your case if you play ball, and that's wrong, and we can admit that, then is it not also wrong for Biden to be threatening to put a case on people, to be hovering a cloud, a dark cloud over everybody's head to make them play along with his game? If it's, I'm just saying, because if it's wrong, it's got to be wrong both ways. Because the way it is quid pro quo both ways. If Trump is saying, I'm going to get your case up off you if you do this for me, and that's wrong, then it's also wrong for Biden to say, I'm going to put a case on you if you don't do what I want you to do. That's also wrong. That's also just as wrong. That's just as wrong. One is saying, I'm going to save you from the justice that you deserve if you do something in my interest. And another is saying, I'm not going to give you the justice you deserve if you go along with my interest. It's really the same thing in reverse. And that's the thing. If Adams is not qualified to be mayor, I'm not going to make an argument that he is. But if he's not qualified to be mayor, it's not now. It's always been that way. And if Trump is wrong now, then Biden been wrong. And this is something that the Biden administration has been doing. This is why nobody wants to call the Democrats out, because they all got dirt in their fingernails. They all got skeletons in their closet, and all of the party knows about it. And if they don't go along with the agenda, then next thing you know, they're getting snitched on, just like Eric Adams, and they're getting cases put on them. Just like Eric Adams. Brandon Johnson looked like he about to get a case on him in the next couple of weeks or so. So this is the thing. If it's wrong, it's got to be wrong both ways. This is why people don't take the Democratic Party serious, because y'all be making it seem like y'all all about morals and integrity and all that stuff, but y'all be doing the same thing. The same exact thing. Come on.
Resign. Are you saying that?
I also have to be careful because I'm next in line. Right. So I really try to make sure that I'm responsible with my words. And I said this before, the only worst time I could think of was in Jimmy Walker in Wall Street days. At least he had the decency to resign. This mayor seems to want to take us through the most difficult way to not have him be mayor. And I'm hoping that he just listens and within himself. This is not a tenable situation for our city right now.
So you're getting there. I know you have to be measured because you are next in line. So let me ask it a different way. If he doesn't resign, should the governor remove him?
I think we have to, we as a city.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house no matter what condition it's in. If you need to sell your house for any reason, click the button.
Need to do everything we can. That includes our power to vote, to make sure that we have a new mayor. And I want everyone who has the power to do that.
Now, here's the thing. He's saying that he can't say, this dude is saying that I'm next in line, which he is. He's next in line. I'm next in line, so I can't say that Eric Adams can resign. Dude, you've been talking for like the last 10 minutes talking about how bad of a mayor he is and now how he can't govern the city. This man been saying everything and anything he can to say that Eric Adams cannot govern the city. Eric Adams is corrupt, that the situation he's done is corrupt, that he's not putting the people first. And he was like, oh, well, do you want him to resign? Well, I can't technically say I want him to resign. Dude, you might as well at this point. You've been saying everything else.
But that's different than the question of should she remove him?
Yeah. Trying to make sure I'm as measured as possible. I want everybody that has the power to make sure that we don't have a mayor that's in this situation to really look within themselves and the powers that they have and do what's in the best interest of the city. I was speaking to someone, I said, this is getting worse by the day.
Yeah.
They said, no, it's getting worse by the hour. And we have people who are really scared and who are in harm's way. And I want to remind folks, this is the mayor. People may have forgotten, he told folks to send the migrants here. He actually said, send them here, we'll show you how to do it. All of these things are self-inflicted injuries and wounds. And now you want to help set up an apparatus. 40% of our city are immigrants, and they're all scared. It's just not about illegal, not illegal. There are people who are losing their status. And by the way, you may agree with this policy or not, but what about when it's a policy you don't agree with? The biggest problem is we need a mayor of New York City, not a deputy to the White House.
So if you were to...
Okay. And I will say that, Adams, you was out here, you was literally willing to make a fool out of yourself. Eric Adams was literally willing to make a fool out of himself to appease Joe Biden and to appease the party. He said, hey, send them over. He was welcoming, open arms. Now, all of a sudden, he's sitting up there trying to get them up out of here. But I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I would rather, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I would rather Eric Adams stay in there than this guy. I would rather him stay in there than this guy right here. Because this dude is going to go all the way back to normal. It's going to be old school Democratic agenda. Right back. If Eric Adams steps down, or if he resigns, or if he gets kicked out, or whatever the case is, and if Eric Adams is not the mayor and this guy who's next in line becomes the mayor, he's going to go all the way back to, this is a land of immigrants. ICE got to get out of here. We don't want to cooperate with ICE. Because he's an immigrant himself. So that's exactly what he's going to do. So right now, I understand that Eric Adams is being corrupt. I've been saying that since day one. Eric Adams is a corrupt ass person. Eric Adams is corrupt. Eric Adams is selfish. Eric Adams is doing this because the only thing he cares about is himself. I've been saying that. Still, the end result is the end result, no matter what the intent is. The end result is the end result, no matter what the intent is. And I would rather the end result of Adams staying in there cooperating to some degree with ICE than this dude who's really acting like he's not going to cooperate at all. I'm just be honest. I'd rather Adams, and I can't believe I just said that.
To become mayor, I know you're measured because you could be next. Does that mean you run in the primary?
Nothing means anything. So the what's clear in the charter is the line of succession.
Right.
All that, it's 90 days. All you're supposed to do at that time period is make sure that people understand that government is still running. 911, 301 will be called and answered, and the garbage will be picked up. Garbage is very important to be picked up. That would be my primary focus. And then we have to figure out the politics as we go. We're not there yet. And so everything I'm doing as public advocate and making sure that we're using our office to refocus New Yorkers, and particularly the hundreds of thousands of public sector workers, the agency heads, the commissioners, who are not getting the leadership right now. We said in another letter, it's clear what happens if the mayor is actually out of the position. It's less clear when he's abdicating his duties and actually in the position.
It's a good segue to the next conversation, which is why I invited you here, which was to talk about your race for public advocate. And it feels, it's very up in the air of what exactly that's going to look like if you are, right now you're running as public advocate, but that could change. We had your opponent on, Jennifer Rajkumar, who had some things to say about you. I want you to take a listen and then we'll get your reaction. Is he incompetent?
Yes, as well as incompetent. There are reports that if you go to his office, there's 59 staff members that are supposed to be there, but you'll only see 5. People cannot get through to the office. We don't need this. We need people that work 24/7.
Damn.
She called you incompetent, and in her original outline, she said that you were somebody who was just out for publicity stunts. I want to give you the chance to react.
I mean, it's interesting that it's coming from her, the word publicity stunt, but that's a whole nother story. Quite frankly, what's most troubling to me is that she doesn't seem to know what the office is and the powers of the office, so that's concerning. It's hard to respond to things that just have no basis in truth. I think she's referring to a story where someone came in, quite frankly. We have actually 2 offices, and that reporter looked at one. And we're actually at a hybrid schedule, like a lot of folks. So we're here 3 days a week, at least, everybody. 3 days all in office, 2 days remote, but you have to be in the office. And even when you're remote, the office is open all of the time.
Right.
We're actually really proud because people, I think, know about this office now more than before because of the work that we've done. So much so, cities have asked me to testify in their council because they're trying to replicate the things that we've done as public advocate. We've passed more.
Is it just me? I'm letting them talk. I'm letting them talk. It sounds like he's explaining though. It is the fact that he makes a point and then he doesn't stop the point to start a new point. And then he starts that point, and then he stops that point, and then he starts another point. He wasn't talking like that before when he was talking about Eric Adams and the whole thing about them going to the thing. Yeah, it sounds like you explain it a little bit, sir. I don't know about this other lady. I don't know what she on, but right now it sounds like you've been caught. That's what it sounds like. All right.
Bills and previous public advocates combined.
What does
our productivity has been off the charts as far as I'm concerned.
What does a second term as public advocate look like, given that so much has happened in the last couple of months?
Well, we have, I think, right now the best experience in the intersection of outside, inside. And so we do use whatever is needed to bring the public's attention and media to an issue that may not be known. And then we use legislation and policy to try to affect that change very successfully. It's actually going to depend on what happens and what this president does. And do we have a mayor that is actually just going to follow suit?
Yeah.
And if you.
Okay. Here's the thing now. And Sage just said he was something. Sage, what is he? He's not Haitian. He's not Jamaican. He's something else. I don't know what he is, but he's not Haitian. He's not Jamaican. I think Sage just said what he was, but it does. Yeah. If he's still in chat room, maybe you can confirm that. I appreciate that. If you did, let's be honest. We all know that Eric Adams is corrupt, just like all of these politicians. Like I said in the beginning of the broadcast, they don't let you in the room. You're not allowed to enter in the room unless you got some skeletons in the closet. You got to have dirty fingernails coming in the room. Grit, let me see. Oh, okay. Sage already said, okay, there you guys go. There y'all go. So that's where he's from. All right. There we go. All right. So anyway, you got to have dirty fingernails coming in the room. You got to have skeletons in your closet coming in the room. You got to play ball in order to enter the room, especially of politics, because they don't like, when it comes to politics, political parties, they don't like wild cards. They don't like that. They don't like people who they play cool one day and then next thing you know, they starting to swift a little bit. They starting to change. There's something they disagree with. You need them to vote on something, but they don't really want to vote on that thing. You need guarantees. That's the only way a party can stay powerful, is that every member in there is a guarantee. All of this election and all that voting and people and all that stuff. No. According to the party, this is how parties play out. This is how politics play out. Yeah, you get voted in, whatever. We only allowing the people that we want to even enter the election to get a chance to get voted in the first place. That's how they really want the game to be set up. Now, you entering in, we need a guarantee that you're going to play ball. We need a guarantee that if we start going this way, you're going to start going this way. We don't want you to have no conscience or nothing like that. We don't want you to love the people or love your... No. That's not what you're here for. You're here to serve the corporation, which is a political party. That's what you're here to serve, not the people. Screw the people. Forget the people. Doesn't matter. They don't matter. That's what you're here for. So the party needs guarantees, and in order to get those guarantees, they need some insurance. They need to know that if you start switching up, we got this little red button over here, this big red button, and we willing to press this red button at a moment's notice. The second we see you switching up, we pressing this red button. That's what we need. That's what politics is about. That's what we need. That's what the Democrats and the Republicans do. So all of a sudden, when you see a politician and they got this corruption charge on them, that's not because nobody knew they wasn't corrupt. When they got this money laundering charge on them, that's not because nobody knew. A lot of people knew. Oh, that's just because you pissed somebody off and that red button got pressed. That's what that's about. So when Eric Adams, when he decided to call out Joe Biden, what did Joe Biden do? Look at his finger. Look at Joe Biden's finger in this picture, y'all, and tell me what he's doing. Joe Biden pressed that red button. Joe Biden said, oh, you gonna call me out for letting all these illegals up in your city like this? Okay. Let me press this red button on you real quick. Let me hit that button on your ass real quick. And all of a sudden, that button came pressed. He pressed that button. He pressed it a couple times. He kept pressing the button. He wanted to make sure this button worked on Eric Adams. And Eric Adams was in a pickle. Eric Adams was in a bad situation right here. Eric Adams had cases left and right. People wanted him to resign. The migrants just kept on doing what they was doing with no help from the party. Everybody in the party was talking about him. Nobody in the party was saying, hey, leave Eric Adams alone. Don't listen to that false information. Everybody was going along, digging Eric Adams' grave right in front of him. He's just watching his grave get dug right in front of him. Eric Adams had nowhere to go except to cooperate with Donald Trump in order to get them out. So he called Tom Homan back. He said, Tom, hey, listen, man. Listen, Tom. I didn't really think about the immigration thing until after you left. I've had some time to reconsider that. Okay, how about you come back? Listen. Don't hang. Listen. He said lunch is on me. Lunch is on me. Lunch is on me. I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll pay for your Uber. It's expensive to drive out here in New York. Now we got these cameras and everything. Don't even worry about driving. I'll get you an Uber. You know, lunch is on me. Let's sit down. Let's have a conversation about it. And then after you have that conversation, Tom goes back to Trump. He's like, hey, that Negro in New York, he's starting to play ball. He's like, oh, okay. Then all of a sudden, now you see Eric Adams' case is starting to get dropped, and Eric Adams drying up his tears now. Now Eric Adams is feeling himself. Now Eric Adams is saying, I ain't going nowhere. I'm back where I was, baby. Ain't nobody taking me down. I'm the king of the hill. No American should have ever gone through what I went through. Eric Adams is just on the top of his game right now. So that's what the party's about. So that's where we are right now. That's where we are right now. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that Eric Adams will resign? According to Eric Adams, he ain't going nowhere. He's not going nowhere, and nobody can make him go nowhere, according to Eric Adams. Can Kathy make him resign or kick him out? I guess it wouldn't be resigning if he was kicked out. So can Kathy kick him out? I guess technically. I wonder what basis she would be using. I mean, because the quid pro quo thing is obvious, but it's not legally official at this moment yet. It's very obvious, but it is alleged. It's allegedly obvious. You got to say it like that. Can she kick him out because of quid pro quo? Maybe. Possibly. But then again, Donald Trump is the president. So can you get kicked out because you're cooperating with the president? I don't really know about that. I'm going to be honest. It seems like Eric Adams might be good for a minute. Unless there's some other case or some other situation that we're unaware of at this moment that they might be sitting on. There might be another red button that Kathy might be able to press on his ass. We don't know that as of right now. But as of right now, he pressed the red button and then Donald Trump pressed the green button. So it seemed like Eric Adams might be cool for right now, as long as he plays ball. But here's the thing. The fact that he came to him in this desperate situation, now Donald Trump has that red button. See, the red button get passed over sometimes. If the red button is out, now Donald Trump got that red button. So now, this is the thing. Now, if Eric Adams does anything that Donald Trump don't like, if he's not playing ball to Donald Trump gonna press that red button. And I'm letting you know this right now. Donald Trump don't get nope. Donald Trump was on The Apprentice. He's been famous for telling people that they fired. Donald Trump don't get no feelings when it comes to pressing that red button. If I'm gonna tell you, Donald Trump is a red button presser. There's probably nothing Donald Trump enjoys more than pressing that damn red button. And I guarantee you, the second you slip up, I'm talking about, this is the president from The Apprentice show, where he was proud to say, you're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. That's the red button. The red button is you fired. Now, the red button in politics is you fired and the cops is coming to pick you up. That's the red button over there. Okay. You fired, but you're not just fired. You fired with a little extra sauce to it. And Donald Trump loves his sauce. He loves that extra sauce. Donald Trump is very dramatic. Donald Trump will press that button. So Eric Adams might be safe from Biden. He might have escaped his fate from Biden. But I don't know. Is his fate going to be safe against Donald Trump? That's something that we don't know. Because we do know one thing. Is Donald Trump will press that red button on Eric Adams. If we know anything, we know that. If we know anything, we know that. We'll find out. We'll see. But at the end of the day, how does this affect us? As foundational Black Americans, how does this affect us? Somebody said white supremacy breaks its tools. They always do. You got to come in, and they got to have that red button ready for you before you walk in the room. You got to have skeletons in your closet before you walk in the room. That's how they operate. But at the end of the day, ICE is coming to pick them up and getting them dangerous criminals up out of the community. If that's how it's working, and ICE is coming to pick them up and getting them up out of New York, I'm gonna be honest, it's not something I'm complaining about as of right now. Apparently, according to me, this is a benefit to the community. This is what the community needed the whole time. I'm be honest, let them do their job. Adams is not doing this for the people. I'm not going to act as if Adams is doing this because Adams is some type of hero to the people, or even that Adams has had a change of heart. I know for a fact that he doesn't. I know for a fact that Adams is doing this because Adams knows that he needed to save himself, and this was the only way for him to save himself. I'm not confused by that to any degree at all. But at the end of the day, the result is the result. Don't matter the intent. So he might have done it with the intent of saving himself, but as long as it's benefiting the community, I'm cool. I'm cool. And I'd rather Adams be in than this other tether come in there and then try to reverse everything and then bring everything back to the Democratic agenda. No. I'm cool with where it is right now. I am curious to see, because Eric is not going to last that long. Let's be honest. Eric is not going to last that long. It's going to be one thing. But I can guarantee you, if his switch is not 100% on some Brian Daniels stuff, his switch got to be a 100% switch. He got to be a loyalist to Donald Trump, or that red button is getting pressed on him. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. Yeah, brothers and sisters, I got a lot of work to do. I've been working a lot. I've been very, very busy. Okay. I didn't even have enough time to really advertise this live stream like that. Been super busy. Crazy busy. But it's all for the people. I want to let y'all know, one of the things that I've been very busy with is the For the Culture channel. Okay. Been very, very busy with that For the Culture channel, because we got a new episode of the For the Culture podcast coming out this week. It's coming out this Friday, brothers and sisters. It's on its way out now. I'm going to put the link to it. Hold on. I'm going to put the link to it in the description. Not the description. I'm going to put the link to it in the chat room. Where is it? Hold on for 1 second. Lord, here we go. It was supposed to be right here. All right. Let's see. Where is it? All right. Boy, hold on for 1 second. As we're waiting for this, I need you guys to make sure that you guys like this. I was supposed to be pulled up. It was supposed to be one smooth little thing, but it wasn't. All right, but that's okay. That's fine. I need you guys to make sure that you guys like the For the Culture thing coming up. We got to have, let me see how many likes we got in here. We got on the thing. Let me look at that. We got to have that pre-likes. Is only 31 pre-likes. We got to have way more than 31 pre-likes. We should have about 100 pre-likes. I'm going to be honest, because we got a whole week. We should have about 100 pre-likes. So we need like 70 more. So we got to go to it and we got hundreds of people in here right now, and we only got 30 something likes. We can have 100 pre-likes by Friday. I need you guys to do that. It took a lot of work to get that done. Okay. And I'm working still now to make sure that everything goes well with everything. So it's been working before, working at night, working. I need the family to lock in with me. Okay. Y'all got to lock in. And I appreciate you guys. It's, you're a subscriber to the For the Culture. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Family. Thank you so very much for that. All right. Also, make sure you guys don't just like it, subscribe to the channel as well, too. I need you guys to do that. I need you guys, since we're talking about liking and everything like that, since we're talking about it, I need you guys to make sure you guys like tonight's video, tonight's live stream. But you do that after following me on Afro Elite on Instagram and then the Afro Elite on YouTube. Follow me on Afro Elite on Instagram, Afro Elite on YouTube, so you don't miss out on any notifications. The link to that is in the description below. Also, make sure that you guys like, very important, like this, like For the Culture, subscribe to this, subscribe to For the Culture, hit the notifications to this, hit the notifications to For the Culture. Make sure you guys do that, all right? It's Black History Month. We are trying to make Black history. We are in the process of making Black history, ladies and gentlemen. We are doing that. So I need you guys to lock in with me so we can do this together, all right? I appreciate every single last one of you guys for watching. I know you said you're subscribed, sister. I thank you. Thank you. Subscribe. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Oh, Stephanie's in here. How you doing, Stephanie? I didn't see you. How you doing? I see you changed your profile picture. That's nice. Appreciate pre-like. Thank you very much. Pre-like. Thank you very much. If you guys have liked, I need the thumbs up. Let me know if you guys have already liked it. Put the thumbs up emoji in the chat room right now. Let me know how many of you guys have already liked it. All right. I see you guys in here. Appreciate you guys. Tell it like it is. That's my brother over there. Angie, she says she's subscribed. Hit that like button. I appreciate that. It's done. I appreciate that. FL, Jerry, Armageddon, Earth Angel. You know what I'm saying? Patricia, that's all good. Kimberly, thank you so very much. Sage, my brother, that's my brother Sage. Thank you. Need to talk to you, Sage. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate Black Spider. Appreciate every single last one of you. Oh, Kenny's in here. How you doing, Kenny? What's this? Virgo is in here. Eddie is in here. Thank you, 7. See you, 7. Appreciate you. So we good. We locked in. See, this is a good sign. This is a good sign. I see you guys. Let me see. Will you have other B1 guests from other channels? Yeah, that's the thing. With the For the Culture, we have the main, of course, the main things, right? But I want also it to be a thing where other channels get to come on. If you guys have noticed, Alonda's in here. How you doing, Alonda? If you guys know, and thank you for that. If you guys have noticed, with this channel, I've not really have done interviews like that in a minute. I ain't did an interview. I haven't done an interview in a minute, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm not saying I'm not going to do an interview no more or whatever the case is, but I want this channel to be a little different from the For the Culture thing. I want the For the Culture thing to be more on that, where more people can come on, and I want to have guests, and I don't want to just have guests there. I want to be able to have, I want to build it up. The agenda is for it to be built up to where we can have live guests. Instead of like having a guest on the screen, I also it needs to be built to the point where we can have a live panel and live guests and do stuff like that. So that's the agenda for that. So of course we will have more people on, but of course to start it off, we want people to be there and be consistent with it. So we got to start it off with a handful of people so it can get consistent with it, right? Right now I haven't had guests. Now I have been interviewed on other channels. I don't mind being interviewed at all on other channels, but I haven't had interviews like that lately on this channel, but I do want the other channel to be if I was to have interviews, I want the interviews to be live. I am trying to lean towards that. So I want the channel to be built up for that, so that's kind of the mind frame. But I'm not gonna say I'm gonna stop doing lives on this channel. That's not the plan. Let's see. He sends another one. I'm only taking B1 guests, pro FBA guests. Yeah, oh yeah. Doing that. I also want to do it more because politics is coming up. The elections is coming up, and I want to be able to have different politicians come on. Now the For the Culture thing, that's different because I want the For the Culture thing to be like established, solid brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? People who've been like Tariq and all that to be working in the community and stuff like that. And I want or Riza or somebody or something like them. That's for that. You know what I'm saying? So we can really establish the culture thing. With here, the interviews, have you seen they've only done digital interviews, which is okay, virtual interviews, which is okay. You know, but I also want like politicians, if you want to run and you want to talk to the community, you can do that over here. So I don't want it to be like they're the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to be the same thing. I want it to be a different feel, but the same agenda. It's the same agenda, but it's a kind of a different style to it. You know what I'm saying? To give it a little bit of consistency. I want the style of For the Culture to be different. It's still Black first, but it's a different style than over here. All right. You know what I'm saying? Because I want the For the Culture thing to be more live. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're just putting stuff on it to just get the channel up. You know, that's why you've seen a lot of the live streams, my old live streams from TikTok and all that. I'm doing that just to build the channel up. That's not going to be the thing going forward forever and ever and ever. But I got to give the channel some momentum. I got to give the channel some juice. So I'm doing that so I can subsidize the channel. But the ultimate For the Culture thing, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I want the For the Culture to be the next Breakfast Club. That's the agenda of it. When we sat down and we discussed it, because the Breakfast Club, they be hitting sometimes, but they miss a lot more than that. Sometimes when they shoot, they get in, and then sometimes when they shoot, it's an air ball. When we shoot, we get in all the time. We want things to be about something Black first, okay? We want an FBA panel up there. Even if we have some really solid like non-FBAs come up there, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But we looking at this like, you know what, the Breakfast Club and all these other things where politicians go and stuff like that. We need our own version of that. So that's what the idea of the For the Culture thing is really about. But it's going to take some work to get there. You know, so we understand that it's not a overnight thing. We understand that it's going to take some work. So that's why we've put a lot of work into it. So we put a lot of work into that. Now, my own personal channel is going to be a little bit different. Like, for instance, Charlemagne probably has his own personal channel than he does with the Breakfast Club, you know, or DJ Envy has his own personal thing than he does with the Breakfast Club, or even there's not Angela Rye anymore. Who is it? Tiffany Haddish. Not Tiffany Haddish. Who is it? Just Hilarious. Is it Just Hilarious? Who's that other lady on the Breakfast Club? Who's that other lady? Something they're going through. It's not that other lady. I think it's Just Hilarious, right? It's just see now, y'all got me Googling. I can't stand when I forget a name. I think it's isn't it Just Hilarious? Can somebody confirm that real quick? Let me see. Yeah, it's Just Hilarious. Okay, I'm right. You know, she has her own thing, but then the group thing is the Breakfast Club. Okay, yeah, I was right. The group thing is the Breakfast Club. So that's essentially what the For the Culture thing is gonna be like. Okay, that's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some work because we've been going over, because we understand what the process is now. You gotta build it up, okay? You got to build it up because because the Breakfast Club, they don't own that. Charlemagne doesn't own that. Okay, that's iHeartRadio that owns that. So that's not independent. That's why they can't really say anything. Everything they has to say, it got to be pre-vetted and controlled and all that stuff, because that's owned by iHeartRadio. What we're trying to do is we want to be completely independent. We don't want to be owned by iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple. We're not trying to be owned by these things. Google, we're not trying to be owned by these things. We want to be completely independent. All right. So it's going to take a lot more work for us to get to that level, or even to be somewhat resembling that with being independent. But we can do it. We can do it. It can be done, and it will be done. All right. So that's why we've been going around to different spots and stuff like that, because we want people to really get a vibe and an attachment to it. You know, well, of course, even though we still will be doing the For the Culture thing, even if we have a like established location, we still like to do the traveling. You know what I'm saying? Because we like to get the vibes and stuff like that. So we will still be doing traveling even when we eventually get to that level. All right. So that's the thing. You're saying just not really hilarious, but not really hilarious. That's fun. Oh, we had another super chat. Okay. He says TD Hip Hop, Tariq, TBA, Black Light Revelations. Yeah, see, these are the people that will solid. You know what I'm saying? These are the people that we'll have on here. We'll discuss conversations and stuff like that pertaining to the Black community, different interviews, history and stuff. You know, also kind of like who else does it? Rock Newman, where he invites guests on there. Rock Newman has had Tariq, Reza. Rock Newman's also had Dr. Claude Anderson. He's had our late brother Neely Fuller Jr. on there. So I like the way he does different interviews, but instead of one person, it would be a panel of people, you know, having a dialogue about the situation. So eventually it's gonna be something new, something that hasn't been done before, but it's gonna be resembling something kind of like that. So it's just gonna be a new improvement on that. But it's gonna be great, and it's gonna be Black first, and that's gonna be something beautiful, and it's gonna be what the people need. So that's the goal in that. So we're putting a lot of work into making that pop off, making that take off. It's a lot of work in it, but it's something that's needed. We're not doing it because it's just fun. We have fun doing it, but we're not doing it because it's fun. We're doing it because it's needed. So that's why. All right. That's the agenda for it. You know, yeah, Dr. Short comes on, you know what I'm saying? But brothers like him, you know, we come on and we you know, be spitting game and all that stuff. We be talking about history, talking about politics, talking about boo up the bam. So that's the agenda of that, you know. But yeah, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Now I'm saying we have a goal, 100 pre-likes before Friday. We can get it. We can get it. We can get it. I'm going to put it also in the comment section when I'm off my live stream. Now, I appreciate every single last one of you guys for being here, but I got some work I got to do. To be honest, there was a lot of stuff I had to leave out because I got some work I got to do. All right. I want y'all to lock in because I got some content coming up. I'm trying to get as much content out for Black History Month as possible. So I need you guys to lock in with me by hitting that like button every single time, hitting that subscribe button, making sure you subscribe, and hitting that notification button, making sure you have your notification button pressed. All right. Hitting all. So make sure. All right. So y'all be monitoring, be making sure that you guys follow me so we can get as much content, as much work done for this Black History Month as possible. All right, that's the plan. And I appreciate you, brothers and sisters, for being here with me so we can do that. Now, with that being said, Black first to every single last one of you all. Thank you for watching, and y'all stay blessed.